Hello everybody and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday morning, October the 23rd, and time once again for the mailbag. How's everybody doing? I'm doing fine. The 12 days of Halloween are underway. You know, this is that time of year where I try to do way too much work in too tight of a time frame, and then I end up questioning my life choices, and it's crazy. But it's usually worth it at the end. Okay, as you'll remember, last week in the mailbag was a skip week, and legitimate reason for that last time. The preceding week only had like 2 packages come in. So when I have a dead week in the mail like that, it makes perfectly good sense to have a skip week. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have a skip week when both weeks, 2 weeks together, are just packed full of mail. Like the last time I had a 30-minute episode of the mailbag that resulted from that sort of thing. But anyway, right now what I have is about, say, 10 or 12 packages or so. Nothing out of hand, but it looks like a good batch of books. Looks like it's very Tor heavy and Saga Press heavy. So without further ado, let's get into them. Okay, this first one is actually from the fine folks at Random Penguin. So let's see what we got. Well, this is kind of nice to see. This comes in from Ace. It's an arc for Django Wexler's The Infernal Battalion. This is going to be the 5th volume, and it says the final volume in his Shadow Campaigns series. So there you are. Let's see, it comes out January the 9th. A deftly built world full of betrayal, war, and courage awaits in the riveting alternate 19th century universe of the Infernal Battalion, where muskets and magic clash amongst men and demons. So there you go. It's flintlock fantasy. I've heard it compared both charitably and uncharitably to the work of Brian T. McClellan, but in any event, I think Django Wexler stands on his own, and I don't really want to give away anything else in terms of a synopsis so as to avoid spoilers. So now with all 5 books out, could be a good time to get them reviewed. But anyway, like I said, the Infernal Battalion, Volume 5 of the Shadow Campaigns, January the 9th from Ace Books. And next up, also from Random Penguin, this is new in mass market paperback from Doll Books. It's by Irene Radford. It's called A Spoonful of Magic. You have also seen me get this as an arc already. Comes out November 7th. This apparently is a new sort of comedy urban fantasy, as it were. It's about a kitchen witch and her magical family. Life could hardly be better for Daphne Rose. Daphne Rose. She has the... Daphne Rose Wallace Deschamps. That is a packed Southern-sounding name. She has the ideal suburban life, 3 wonderful children, a coffee shop, and a bakery. And a deceptively perfect husband when she uncovers dangerous secrets beyond her husband's perfect exterior. She finds evidence of his infidelity, and a whole new world of wizards, magic, and mayhem. Suddenly, Daphne is part of a world she never imagined, where her husband is not a traveling troubleshooter for a software company, but the sheriff of the International Guild of Wizards. And her brilliant children are also budding magicians. Even she herself is not just a great baker and barista, she's actually a kitchen witch. Cute, and I guess you'll find out what a kitchen witch does, precisely, except ace those magical recipes, on November the 7th, A Spoonful of Magic. You notice the character on the cover here is painted, can't really see, I'm sure, but to look exactly like Amy Poehler. And I was sort of wondering out loud last time if the plan here was to sort of maybe get a copy of this into the hands of Amy's agent to maybe like get a series off the ground, because who wouldn't want that? Just seems, seriously, exact dead ringer. And next up from Ace Books, this is one I'm really excited by. This is Mike Cole's Siege line. This is the latest in the 2nd trilogy set in his Shadow Ops universe. If you go way back to the very beginning of my channel, on like the fantasy playlist, you will see my review for a Shadow Ops Control Point. An event has happened that has caused, from Alien Origins, that has caused certain people to develop superpowers, and the government wants to control these people, and then there's other dimensions and action and what have you. And so there was the original trilogy, and then the 2nd trilogy, of which this is the final volume, Siege Line. And here is the first of what looks to be the Saga Press. I have 2 big packages like this from them, both containing multiple items. Although, of course, it's Simon & Schuster, so there may be stuff from other S&S imprints in here as well. So let's rip open this first one. Okay, I'm a tiny bit mind blown because that package contained no fewer than 5 arcs for upcoming Saga releases. Super exciting, so we'll just start here. The first of these is new from Chuck Wendig. It's his newest Miriam Black novel. Miriam Black is a series that has been optioned for television, so there's that. This comes out January 23rd. And anyway, the whole idea is that Miriam Black has the ability to foresee pretty much anyone's death, as it were. And so I think there have been something like 5 novels already, and this may be the 6th, or there have been 4, and this is the 5th. But in any event, The Raptor and the Wren is the title of the new one. They're all sort of named after birds and variants of birds. And as I said, comes out January 23rd. And this is way cool. Coming up next, this is a collaboration between Paolo Bacigalupi, you know, who won the Hugo and Nebula for the Wind-Up Girl, with Tobias Buckle. And let's see, no individual cell sheet for this, so I'll just have to read off the back. To practice magic is to tempt death at the hands of the mob. Yet the city of Khaim, Khaim, is ruled by a tyrant and the most powerful of defilers, the last archmage of the world. Khaim, the last great city of a decaying empire, clings to life. It is a world where magic destroys. Okay then. Award-winning authors Paolo Bacigalupi and Tobias Buckle explore a shared world where magic is forbidden, and its use is rewarded with the executioner's axe. A world of glittering memories and a desperate present where everyone uses a little magic and someone else always pays the price. Okay then. Sounds intriguing. Comes out February the 27th. And next, I'm super excited about this. This is really early to come in. I haven't even read At the Table of Wolves yet, but this is the sequel now, The Serpent in the Heather, from my girl Kay Kenyon, who I've told all you people to read a million times, so why aren't you listening to me? But Serpent in the Heather, this is a book that comes out, let me see, the sequel comes out April 10th. So we're well in advance on this one. And anyway, the idea behind this series is that it's basically X-Men during World War II, as it were. And, you know, the various, you know, wartime intelligence agencies are sending these superpowered spies into Nazi-occupied Germany, and the Nazis are trying to get theirs up into Britain. And so this is now the second one of those. Really looking forward to these, so hooray, I now have 2 to read. That's great. Something to really look forward to after Halloween week is over with. So, yes, the The Serpent in the Heather, there we go. They're all on the same sheet here. Serpent in the Heather, April the 10th, by Kay Kenyon. All right, onward we go. This one comes out February the 13th. This is by John Kessel. Nice to see. This one's called Pride and Prometheus. Looks like a very different sort of a thing for him. Let's see what it's all about. Oh, okay, it's another one of these reinventions of the classic monster fables, okay? Pride of Prejudice meets Frankenstein. As Mary Bennett falls for the enigmatic Victor Frankenstein and befriends his monstrous creature, in this clever fusion of 2 popular classics. Threatened with destruction unless he fashions a wife for his creature, Victor Frankenstein travels to England where he meets Mary and Kitty Bennett, the remaining unmarried sisters of the Bennett family from Pride and Prejudice. As Mary and Victor become increasingly attracted to each other, the creature looks on impatiently, waiting for his bride. Uh-oh, this won't end well. Where will Victor find a female body from which to create the monster's mate? Meanwhile, the awkward Mary hopes that Victor will save her from approaching spinsterhood while wondering what dark secret he is keeping from her. Okay. Could be a kind of a tense fantasy historical romance, as it were. But Jane Austen meets Mary Shelley at last. Pride and Prometheus comes out February 13th. And last but not least, on March 13th, we have Imposter Syndrome. This is from Michelle Baker, and this is the 3rd volume in her Arcadia Project series, following on from Borderline and Phantom Pains. We now have Imposter Syndrome. So, here you are. Okay, might be hard to live up to that burst of 2018 awesome from Saga, but we're going to try. We still have several packages to go. This one is from the folks at Pyre Books. Well, this is unexpected, and it's a different sort of a thing from what I usually get. This is actually not a Pyre title. It is from Prometheus Books, which is the parent imprint of Pyre. This is by David Siegel Bernstein, and it's called Blockbuster Science, the Real Science and Science Fiction. Written by an author who is both a data scientist and a science fiction writer, this entertaining book provides accessible explanations of key scientific principles while referencing well-known science fiction books, movies, and TV shows. Learn about relativity through Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game and the movie Interstellar. Black holes and wormholes in connection with Contact and Planet of the Apes. Theories about the origin of life as reflected in Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek Next Generation, and Hitchhiker's Guide. Computer science and artificial intelligence in reference to AI, artificial intelligence, and much, much more. Okay, so it's a book of, by a science popularizer who's sort of, helping you understand it via popular science fiction, if you're not a science person yourself. Kind of neat, nice idea. All right, this one appears to be, it's already out. This came out on the 10th of October in hardcover from Prometheus Books, Blockbuster Science. I don't get a lot of nonfiction, so that was nice to see. Now we are up to the white envelopes, and those often, not always, but usually mean a Tor title. And it is. Okay, this is kind of a cute and fluffy looking little thing from Tor Teen. Apparently this is called Enhanced. It's the sequel to a book called Flying, and you can pretty much get an idea of the target audience right here. This one came out already on the 17th. Cheerleader turned alien hunter. Mana continues her adventures in Enhanced, the perfect tongue-in-cheek story for any reader who appreciates a story about a teenager who doesn't quite fit in. That's right, everyone. She's all together now, not like other girls. 17-year-old Mana has found and rescued her mother. Okay, well, I guess I just spoiled book one for you. But her work isn't done yet. Mana is ready to take action. The only problem, nobody will let her. Lyle, her best friend and almost boyfriend, for a minute there anyway, seems to want nothing to do with hunting aliens, despite his love of Doctor Who. Okay, well, dump him. Bestie Seppi is so desperate to stay out of it, she is actually leaving town. And her mom's hot but arrogant alien hunting partner, China, is ignoring Mana's texts, cutting her out of the mission entirely. They all know the alien threat won't stay quiet for long. It's up to Mana to fight her way back in. All right, so you get the idea. So it's like, let's do Buffy, except we'll make her hunting aliens, kind of sort of thing. All right, then, from Carrie Jones, from Tor Teen, out now. Okay, next up I have a very hard and flat package from Random Penguin. Well, this is very different from the sort of thing I usually get. This is a collection of comic strips. Comics for a Strange World, a book of poorly drawn lines by Reza Farazmand. Okay, I'm not familiar with it, but it appears to have, the thumbs up from guys like Will Wheaton, so there we are. Okay, let's face it, our world is becoming stranger by the day, so what's the antidote when reality becomes less believable than fiction? Reza Farazmand's, excuse me, Comics for a Strange World, which is out now, came out on the... No, wait, it's out tomorrow. October's bleeding together for me. Out on the 24th. Is just the brand of humor we need for these strange times, based on the wildly popular webcomic Poorly Drawn Lines. You can tell how outside that loop I am. Comics for a Strange World delivers a blend of humor and social commentary that's both an escape from and a skewering of our reality. Well, there you are then. Okay, well, this is out tomorrow. I have no doubt that there are several of you out there who are big fans of this, or at least familiar with it. So there you go. You'll be very happy to know. All right, this is one that I actually got an e-arc for from Tor. I'm actually kind of happy to see this because you don't usually get this kind of action-oriented science fiction from Tor. This is called Valiant Dust. It's the first book in a new series called Breaker of Empires. Author is Richard Baker, and it says Honor Harrington meets the Expanse in an intense new military SF series. This first one comes out November 7th. It says, first book in a stylish, smart new military SF series based on the colonization of Africa and the rivalry between European powers before World War I. The book's hero, Sikander Singh North, is a Sikh man who has to prove that he, a member of a high Kashmiri caste, is just as capable as his fellow starship officers as he joins the crew of the CSS Hector. Deftly combining elements of cultural diversity and overcoming discrimination with the intrigues of interstellar colonial diplomacy and explosive military action, Valiant Dust is a standout start to a new series from an acclaimed SF author. And Richard Baker is himself a former U.S. Navy officer. And so, cool. All right, then. November 7th for Valiant Dust from Tor Books. And next up we have a big old book from Orbit. which I've been aware of for some time. I'm pre-approved for Orbit on NetGalley, so I've had this as an e-arc for a while. But this is called Jade City. The author is Fonda Lee, who will probably be a familiar name to some YA readers. This was the first book in something called the Green Bone Saga. And boy, back cover's just packed full of blurbs. Nice notices from people like Ken Liu, Scott Lynch, Fran Wild, Kate Elliott, Max Gladstone, Ann Leckie, Elizabeth Bear, Stephen Bruce, Mary Robinette Kowal, Aliette de Bedard, Tina Connolly, Beth Cato, and Heidi Heilig are all like crammed on the back of this book. Right there, raving about it. So let's see what it's all about. No sell sheet, gotta read the flap. Jade is the lifeblood of the island of Kikon. It has been mined, traded, stolen, and killed for, and for centuries, honorable greenbone warriors like the Call family have used it to enhance their magical abilities and defend the island from foreign invasion. Now the war is over and a new generation of Calls vies for control of Kikon's bustling capital city. They care about nothing but protecting their own, cornering the jade market and defending the districts under their protection. Ancient tradition has little place in this rapidly changing nation. When a powerful new drug emerges that lets anyone, even foreigners, wield jade, the simmering tension between the Calls and the rival Ayt family, AYT family, erupts into open violence. Okay, so this is like a gang warfare novel. It's like a, epic fantasy version of like those old Takeshi Kitano Yakuza films, maybe. That would be awesome. Let's see. So the outcome of this clan war will determine the fate of all green bones, from their grandest patriarch to the lowliest motorcycle runner on the streets and of Kikon itself. Cool. Well, hopefully it's nice and violent and lots of gang fights. But Jade City, I am going to assume is, let me look, November release. So out in a couple of weeks, probably. All right, everybody, getting near the end. This is the second to last package, and it's the other big one from Saga Press. And does feel like it has different things in it, so let's see what we got. And it's 3 hardcovers from Saga Press. The first of these is Magic of Wind and Mist. It's new from Cassandra Rose Clark. This comes out in stores tomorrow. And gosh, please consider sell sheets, publishers. It really is super handy. Really, really is, because I can read them and not have to do this. All Hana Yuli wants is to become a proper witch, but unfortunately she's stuck as an apprentice to a grumpy fisherman. When their boat gets caught up in a mysterious storm and blown wildly off course, Hannah finds herself farther away from home than she's ever been before. As she tries to get back, she learns there may be more to her apprentice master than she realized. Especially when a mysterious, beautiful, and very non-human boy named Isolfer begins following her through the ocean, claiming that he needs Hannah's help. But when Hannah's fishing boat is attacked by the evil Lord Foxfollow, a failed protection spell sends Hannah and Isolfer across the boundaries into a mysterious realm known as the Mists. Now they're trapped together in a strange new world where they have no way telling friend from foe. Unfortunately, Lord Foxfollow hopes to gain control of Hannah and Isolfer's world, and he's getting closer and closer to gaining permanent access. The only way to stop him from causing devastating destruction to everything they hold dear is to make their way through this dangerous, mysterious realm together. So, Magic of Wind and Mist, out tomorrow. And then next up tomorrow as well, a gorgeous looking book by a writer named John Crowley. He's an old veteran at fantasy. I have to admit, wildly critically acclaimed, but never, well, he's an author that I've had issues with before in terms of, just never quite been on board with him as much as other readers have been. But anyway, I'm still fascinated by this. It's called Ka, and it is the story of a crow. It says the first crow in all history with the name of his, I'm just going to hold it like this, you saw what the cover looks like. An exquisite fable from acclaimed writer John Crowley about a man who tells the story of a crow named Dar Oakley and his impossible lives and deaths in the land of Ka, the realm of crows. I mean, it's crows. That's kind of cool. Dar Oakley was born 2,000 years ago and begins his tale as a young crow. It is a story of how he went down to the human underworld long before Julius Caesar went to the Celtic lands, and got hold of the immortality meant for humans. How he sailed west to America with the Irish monks, searching for the paradise of the birds, and how he continuously went down into the land of the dead and returned. Through his adventures in Ka and around the world, Dar Oakley found the true stories of the dead in all times and places, and in our time he has found someone he can tell them to. Ka, Dar Oakley in the Ruin of Ymir. Okay, so I mean, even so, it sounds fascinating. It's definitely one that I'm willing to give a shot, but this is out tomorrow from Saga Press. And then finally, I have the finished copy of Barbary Station. This is one you've probably heard me talk about many, many times. You've seen the arc already. This is by debut author R.E. Stearns, and it's about these two young women, a couple who who aspire to be space pirates. And so they go to this station, Barbary Station, where there is a gang already there set up of pirates, and they have a problem with the dangerous AI on board the station. So the gang says, all right, you want to be part of us? Go disable this dangerous AI, and the adventure goes on from there. But yeah, really looking forward to this, I'm sure. Out on the 31st in hardcover from Saga Press. And the last one, everybody, big white envelope from Tor Books. Looks to be a pretty chunky hardback. And we wrap up with one for the traditional epic fantasy fans among you. This is Blade of Empire. It's a new collaboration by Mercedes Lackey and James Mallory. And this is the second book in their series called The Dragon Prophecy. See, I mean, you can't get much more traditional epic fantasy than something called The Dragon Prophecy. You got dragons, you got prophecies. All the tropes are lining up. Okay. But anyway, yeah, you know, if you're a Mercedes Lackey fan, you're probably already reading these series. She and James Mallory have done quite a few books together. And it says, if you're fans of Robin Hobb or Diana Gabaldon. How do you pronounce her name? Is it Gabaldon or Gabaldon? Or none of those? Let me know, because I've just never known that, and you can correct me, finally. But anyway, this comes out tomorrow from Tor Books in hardcover. By creating a world filled to the brim with otherworldly creatures, magical mayhem, and intrigue, Lackey and Mallory continue to show their mastery of the genre. The Dragon Prophecy is a tale of loyalty and betrayal, love and loss, and of sacrifice and salvation. All right, then. And that's it for this installment of the Mailbag. You guys know the drill. Hit those comments, light them up. Let me know which of these books looks most interesting and exciting to you, which you would like to see me prioritize in the review queue. And otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please leave a like, share the video, and above all, please subscribe if you haven't done so. That is how SFF180 grows as a channel. You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where for $2 a month, recruits into Wink's army get little perks like seeing some of my videos a day early and things like that. I want to thank those people, especially in this day and age when YouTube is on this ridiculous demonetizing frenzy. So far, all of my 12 Days of Halloween review videos have been instantly demonetized, like the instant they go live. Several of them have already been remonetized very quickly, but it's just ridiculous, right? And you've probably seen a million channels complaining about this, how the algorithm is just so hair-trigger about what is, you know, inappropriate for all advertisers is just stupid, right? It reminds me of those porn filters that libraries would put on their computers that people use, and which were so extreme in how they filtered things that you couldn't even do searches for stuff like breast cancer because it would trip the porn filter, right? Just ridiculous. But anyway, I try to be very low-key about my Patreon, but for those people who've been supporting it and any of you considering it, I really appreciate you guys. Helps keep the wheels greased, as it were. And I want to thank all the rest of you for being awesome viewers. And so until I see all of you next time, like tonight, for the 12 days, happy reading!